All right, viewers, warm welcome. You're watching To The Point. We're going to exactly get to the point on what is leading to your power cuts out there, if in fact you can actually watch this broadcast. But before that, what we will also tell you, which most of you possibly have already felt, that, viewers, this summer is going to be the hottest summer ever. And I'm not saying it, you're not saying it or feeling it. It is the Met Department that's saying it. We're going to have a series of debilitating heat waves. The temperatures are going to be the worst ever that India has seen. It's come from the Met Department. To give you a simple example of that, many of us actually feel we've completely skipped spring. We've gone from winters directly to summers. What we are facing right now, and we're going to continue to face for a few days, is a debilitating heat wave. Let me quickly take you through the heat map of the country, and this is what India looks like right now. Where Delhi stands at, viewers, this is the national capital. We've recorded 42.8 degrees Celsius today, which is way over what usually Delhi records at this point of time. Jaipur stands at 41 degrees Celsius. Ganganagar is inching towards the 45 degrees Celsius. Ganganagar, Rajasthan, is at 44.8 degrees Celsius. Gujarat is in the grips of a horrible heat wave at 43.4 degrees Celsius. Lucknow is not very far behind at 43.2 degrees Celsius. These, viewers, are numbers that suggest numbers in summers in terms of temperatures that we see in May and June. Just imagine what's going to happen right then. I have with me as well my colleague Siddharth Zarabi. He's going to actually break down for us on why is it that even though we have a heat wave going on, why is it that we are in the midst of the worst power crisis. But first up, viewers, while the scorching heat wave, hours of power cut, Indians clearly at their wits' end. What is happening in terms of this debilitating power crisis? Is it acute coal shortage across the country? We break it down. We get you examples on what citizens are facing across the country.
Heat wave sweeps North India. The country is experiencing one of the hottest summers in many years. Temperature has breached 40 degrees Celsius in many cities across India. In the middle of the severe heat wave, India is also facing power shortage. Many parts of Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir are having blackouts. In villages, these power cuts last as long as 18 hours. In Rajasthan, a patient lost his life, allegedly due to power failure at Kota's Medical College. Her daughter exposed the poor state of the government hospital.
बहुत लापरवाही है, वहाँ पर कोई व्यवस्था नहीं है, कोई जनरेटर की, अगर जनरेटर भी होता तो मेरी माँ नहीं मरती। उन लोगों की कोई सुविधा, डॉक्टर ट्रेनर रखे हुए हैं, इतने बड़ा मेडिकल स्टाफ है, इतना बड़ा हॉस्पिटल है वहाँ पर, उनमें से ट्रेनर, कोई सर्जन, कोई फिजिशियन नहीं है वहाँ पर सर।
Punjab is on the brink of a blackout as the power generation and availability go down. The state is generating only 3,327 megawatts of power, but the requirement is 5,680 megawatt. Govindwal Sahib plant just has coal stock for 2 days. Talwandi Sabo plant will run out of coal in 5. Rajpura plant has stock that would last for 18 days, but Lehra Mohabbat and Ropar plants have coal stock only for 4 and 7 days respectively. The power minister claims there's no shortage, but PSPCL is resorting to unannounced power cuts up to 10 to 12 hours.
सरकार ने फ्री के चक्कर में दे रखा है कि लालच की लाइट देंगे फ्री में। अरे लाइट तो दे नहीं रहे, फ्री क्या दोगे तुम? हमारे बच्चों के बोर्ड के पेपर हैं 10th के, और रात भर लाइट नहीं आती। सुबह देखो तो पता ही नहीं। आप कम से कम इतना तो बताओ कि इतने बजे लाइट जाएगी, इतने बजे आएगी, आप पानी भर के रख लो मोटर चला के। हमें पता ही नहीं होता कब चली जाती है। रात भर तो वो परेशान, दिन को तो वो परेशान। अब बिजली सस्ती होने का हमें क्या फायदा?
The Union Territory of J&K, particularly the Jammu division, is reeling under a major power crisis. Many districts of Jammu are witnessing power cuts for over 12 hours.
यहाँ तो बड़ी मुश्किल आ रही है। मैं तो बॉर्डर एरिया की रहने वाली हूँ, आरसपुरा से। मैं वहाँ बिजली नहीं थी, मैं यहाँ आई हूँ अपने मायके में सिटी में। तो यहाँ भी बिजली की इतनी प्रॉब्लम है, इतनी मुश्किल आ रही है, पखी चोल के गुजारा कर रहे हैं।
The centre and state governments are denying any power shortage.
थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स में, टू बी वेरी स्पेसिफिक, 20 मिलियन टन, लगभग 21 मिलियन टन अभी स्टॉक है। कोल इंडिया, कैप्टिव, ये सब मिलके हमारे पास अभी 72 मिलियन टन का स्टॉक है।
NCP Chief Sharad Pawar expressed concern over the crisis and asked the centre and state governments to find a solution to the problem soon. The question remains, what exactly is the reason for the power crisis? Did the government get its planning wrong ahead of summer? Bureau Report, India Today.
All right. So was it ill-planned by the government, or the summer came knocking too early, and a debilitating summer at that? And are we in the midst of acute coal shortage? These are many of credible reasons. There are more as well. We're going to get to what's more, because your state possibly is also hiding a very dark secret and keeping you in the dark, literally, on that. We're going to get to that later, but I want to cut across to Ajay Shankar, former Special Secretary, Ministry of Power. He's joining us live. Appreciate you joining us, sir. I want to ask you, sir, how bad is our coal stock situation? Because it seems every state is blaming the low coal stock for these debilitating power cuts that are sweeping across North India.
I think it would be useful to understand each part of the supply chain and the problem there. Now, the starting point is that the demand was unanticipated. Climate change is a reality. Extreme weather events are becoming a reality across the world. And therefore, we have to think and prepare for extreme weather events, which we have not been doing. So this sudden demand increase or surge was unanticipated. And therefore, everybody has been caught a bit on the back foot. And the fact of the matter is that for 2 years, power demand in the country was flat. There was some complacency that we have spare generating capacity. Coal India's production was also flat because there was no growth in demand. Now, suddenly the economy has revived, industrial demand has picked up, and we've got this heat wave. So Coal India is doing its best to increase production as much as it can. The coming days and weeks will tell us how far they succeed. Now, a lot of coal is imported in India, and we can import the additional coal that we need, but obviously we can't do it tomorrow. So if we start importing coal quickly, then we can make sure that whatever is the shortfall from Coal India's production is made good through imports. But there we have a major challenge that because of the Ukraine crisis, the price of coal in the global market has gone up many times. So a difficult commercial decision has to be taken to buy expensive coal. And if you generate electricity with expensive coal, then the distribution company has to pay you that extra price, which needs quick decisions and also quick political decisions. Now, even after importing coal and stepping up domestic production of coal, you could still have some power plants where the imported coal cannot be taken easily, or it is in such a situation that Coal India coal can't reach quickly or in adequate quantity because of constraints in the railways. The railways are trying their best to step up again carrying capacity, but you can't change anything overnight. So there may be difficulties in carrying coal. So I would take it that things are being addressed on a war footing and these shortages will be mitigated or moderated. But some shortages in the coming weeks cannot be ruled out. Now you have another problem at the supply end. Just a minute.
Yes.
Which is that even if you generate enough electricity, the carrying capacity in the local wires may not be large enough to bring the electricity to meet the increased demand of air conditioning. So I remember Delhi a few years back had more than adequate supply of power, but still there were power cuts because the carrying capacity of the distribution end for the higher demand was not there, and that needs investment and time. Now that also is neglected in our country generally. The DISCOMs do not have enough money, and therefore when there is a surge in demand, very often you have power cuts because the distribution network is inadequate to meet the high demand of air conditioning load. Now that can't be set right in 2 days or 10 days. It will need a whole season, many months to set it right, and set it right for next year, basically.
All right, so it's going to be a debilitating season. I'd appreciate you joining us, sir, for breaking it down and elucidating it the way you have.